Hello friends, good morning and welcome to the channel. Myself Raz. I will discuss today how to add identity column to an existing table in SQL. It is not possible to directly, add an identity column to an existing table, okay, in SQL Server. So what you need to do is we need to follow some approaches to do this, okay. Directly this is not possible. SQL Server will not allow to add any identity column to an existing table, okay. So let me show you some scenario. What I'll do, I'll just navigate to SQL Server and we will have written already some scripts. I will show you there how it is going to work. Yes. So this is the SQL Server, and you can able to see I have a database called test which contains, I mean, three tables, right? Employee, orders, and product. So if you'll see the first table, employee, we have two columns here, employee ID and EMP name, right? EMP underscore ID and EMP underscore name. So if you'll see this EMP underscore ID, if you right click on that and click on the properties, you can able to see this is not an identity column because identity is false here, right? So this is not an identity column. So if I want to convert this particular EMP ID underscore ID to an identity column, then that is not possible directly in an existing table. It won't allow you. So we have two approaches to achieve this particular functionality. So what we can do, we can drop this old column which is not an identity column, this column, and then we need to add a new column which will be an identity column and alter that table, right? That existing table. That means remove the old column which is not identity column, then you recreate a new column, okay, which will be with the same name and all, and this time you may make it as identity column, right? So this is one approach. And the second approach is you can create a new table with an identity column with the same uh, column names, right? So, but this is the identity column here in the new table. Okay, now then what you need to do, you can copy the old table data to the new table, and then you can remove the old table. You can rename the new table to the old table name. So this is the second approach. You can do this, right? So these are the two approaches. In this way, you can achieve this functionality. Now, if I will directly try to convert that particular EMP underscore ID column, which is not identity column, and we are trying to directly alter this, it won't allow in SQL Server. Let's execute this query and see what it is telling. It is telling that it is a incorrect syntax, right? So direct conversion in an existing table to make an identity column which is not an identity actually earlier is not possible. It is a syntax error, right? So what you can do, we'll execute these two queries to drop that column, okay. The old column we will remove it, and then we will uh, recreate that column with an identity property, right? So let me run this. So now if you'll see here, that column is gone. Only I have EMP underscore name now. Okay. Now what I'll do, I will do a alter table to that employee and I will add a new column with the same column name. And this time I'm setting it identity, right? So I will rerun this query and you can able to see if I'll refresh this, you can able to see that EMP ID is added, which is the identity column now. If I right click and click on the properties, you can see identity is true and seed value is 1 and increment value is 1. That means it is an identity column. So this is one way, right? The second approach is what you can do. We can create a new table with this particular columns, right? The same column name, but this time this is the identity column with the new table, and this is the second column, right? So I will just execute this query, and you can able to see the table will get created, right? So if I'll go here, we can see employee name new, employee underscore new got created. And if I'll go inside this and I will check this column, this is an identity column. You can able to see identity is true, seed value is 1 and increment value is 1. Okay, so the new table has these two columns, same name. Okay, only thing is this is the new name underscore new, right? So now what you can do, you can execute this script, insert script to copy the data, but we don't have. So let me just check that whether we have data in employee table or not. So I'll do select star from employee, right? So world table, we will check whether we have data or not. You can able to see there is no data, the table is empty, right? So in case you have data, what you can do, you can use this insert statement. You can use this insert statement, insert into what you are telling, insert into the new table with that column names and select the old table column name from the old table, right? So this way you can copy the old table data to the new one. But once you will execute, you will get an error. See, if I'll execute this, what it is telling me, cannot insert explicit value for the identity column in employee new. Okay, because, so let me just copy this so that I will show you clearly. You can able to see here what it is telling, cannot insert explicit value for identity column in table employee new, right? So if you'll see that this employee underscore new table is having a identity column, and explicitly you cannot copy any value from the old table to the new one which contains an identity column. So there is a way to do that. So what it is telling, when identity underscore insert is set off, okay, so by default for a table which is created with an identity column, the identity insert is set to off. Okay, now for that identity column you cannot insert a explicit value, right? Because that will auto increment, no need to specify any value for that particular column. So by default this identity insert is set to off. Okay, now to allow this, what you can do, you can just make it on first. Okay, just execute this query first. Identity insert is, you need to make it on first, right? So in this way, if you'll see here, set identity insert employee new to on first. Okay, once you will execute this, it will tell you that this is completed successfully. Now explicit value is allowed to insert for the identity column. Now you can again insert into, you can run this command. Okay, now once you will do that, so you can able to see, if I'll do now, if I run this query, it didn't give this time the error, right? Now it will copy the values to that particular. So we'll do one thing. What we'll do, I will just, I will go here. I will just copy a, I will just put a insert statement here. What I'll do, I will copy this. I will, I will just add some data basically. Okay. What I'll do, I will insert a data 1, and this is Raj, to this old table. Okay, now let's execute this. So this is okay. So we are getting this error because if you remember, we have executed this command to already make this an identity column. Now our old table also has a identity column. That's why it is not allowed. So for that, what I will do now, I will again rerun this command to set the identity on, right? So now it is giving me the same error, this error, right? For the old table as well. Okay. Because I am trying to explicitly, fill the value for this identity column employee underscore ID, because the old table is now already we have made it an identity column, this employee ID, right? So what I'll do, I will just make it on first. Okay. I will run this query to on this just okay. What it is telling, identity insert is already on for table this one, right? So you can able to see here what it is trying to tell me, that identity underscore insert is already on for the table, this one already, the new one also we made it on, right? So at a time you cannot do for both the table, right? So what I need to do, I need to make it off first. So what I'll do here, I will go here, I will make it off. Okay, now I will run it this one to make the new table of first. Then again what I'll do, I will run this to make this. Okay, now this time there is no error, right? Now it allowed me to make it on. Now we will insert a record in the old table employee. You can able to see one row is affected. Okay, now our employee table has some data, right? If I'll go here and check, this is the data Raz and employee ID is one, right? Now I can copy the same data to my new table, right? If I'll execute this, okay, so again what we need to do, we need to now we need to make this off, and what I'll do now, I will make this old one off, right? I will run this command. Now the old table identity insert is off, and then what we'll do, this one we need to rerun to make the new table identity insert to on, right? I will just click this. You can able to see command completed successfully this time. Now we need to copy the old table data to the new one using this statement, which will not give error this time. You can able to see one row is affected. If you will see here, select star from employee, we have a one record as I showed you. This is, and then if I will check now the data of the new table, I will go here, I will just copy the name of this new table, and I will go here and I will select this particular table. You can able to see this is the new table, and we have already copied the data from old table to the new one, right? So this is the steps I was talking about. Okay. Now once the data is copied, you can set the identity insert employee, the new one, right, to off. Okay. Once I will execute again, it won't again allow me to copy, to explicitly allow, insert any value to the identity column, right? So the first thing is what we have done, we have created the table with a new name with the same column, and this time it is an identity column. And then we tried copying from the data from the old table to the new one, which we have done with these exercises. You can able to see here, we rerun these queries, we have set this identity insert on and off for old table and new table, the things which we have done now, right? So this way you can just copy this, and once you will copy this, so it is always better to again set the identity insert to that new table to off, which we have done now. Now the next step is we will drop this old table, right? So now I will run this command to drop the old table. Now we have removed this old table. If I'll refresh now, you won't able to see the old table now, right? Employee is gone now. Now only table we have is employee underscore new, which contains the data of the old table, as well as the column is also an identity column, right? That we have already set it. If you can able to see it here, right? True and 1 1 the value. So the next step is what you can do. You can rename the new table to the old one, right? So we have to rename it from employee underscore new to the old name employee, right? Just execute those command like this, right? exec and sp underscore rename to the new name, and this is the old name, right? So this way you need to execute this command. Just run this command. You can able to see, if I will go here, you can able to see the table has been renamed to the old table name, that is the employee. Okay. And again, the column has same thing. This is an identity column and it contains the data of the old table, right? So we are not losing anything. So now, as a last step, you can update the seed value using this particular command, right? So what will happen is, if you will insert any new record, the the uh, the number will be, start accordingly, right? So you need to basically, you need to update the seed value using this command for safer side, right? Just execute this. You can able to see the what it is telling, checking the identity information. Current identity value is 1 and current column value is 1, right? So you can, if you remember that we have only one record, so it is showing like that, right? So this way you can update the seed value as well. So these are the steps. Basically, we saw how it is going to, you know, work in case you are trying to set an identity column in an existing table, right? Without losing any data from the old table, right? So these are the steps you need to follow, guys, to achieve this particular functionality, right? So that's it for today. I thought to quickly show you how to add an identity column to an existing table, and we have discussed two simple approaches to do that. We have ran we ran all the SQL queries that are needed to copy the data from the old table to the new one, and to set an identity column for the existing table, as well as how we have created one new table, and we have done all these steps, right? We set that identity column there as well. So thanks a lot for watching this video. If you found this video little helpful for you, you can just subscribe to our channel for more SQL tips from us, right? Thanks a lot and have a nice day. Bye bye.